Guys, this man, and okay, it might sound like I'm being judgmental here, but guys, I will tell you, he looked in just a moment, and we all probably look like this in a moment of time, but he looked in that moment like a man defeated. He looked like a man defeated, you know, and he's just communicating through that pain. He's picking up the fucking cat litter, guys.
I've built many startups, most of them have failed, so Bitcoin is exactly the place that I like to be.
We're gonna end it right there. All right, what's up, guys? I just have to put this one down right now because something just happened to me. A situation, guys. A situation just happened to me on my way home, and actually I was on the way to something, but I just came home. But I just had to talk about it, guys. And this was actually something that I wanted to talk about for a while. It's this idea, okay? It's this idea of never taking shit personally. Like, seriously. And I know I've talked about this or kind of talked around this maybe a couple of times in previous podcasts and previous shows of sorts. But guys, I just want to focus down on this because this was actually in my notes. And I had a whole bunch of notes, and I got a whole bunch of notes here about this that I want to discuss with you guys. And today is the day, my friends. Today is the day. Never take shit personally from anyone, ever, period. Now, why does this need to be reminded to us? Why does this need to be reiterated to us from time to time? The reason is we forget. We forget, and I can easily say that a big part of these podcasts, of these shows that I do, is really me exercising the experience, right? Exercising and reminding myself of these truths, that these truths matter, these principles matter, these ideas matter, and if you don't remind yourself, you can easily get lost in the minutia of the day. You can easily get sucked back into patterns, bad patterns of thinking. So let's talk about it, guys. This never take shit personally. Never take shit personally. I'm going to say it again. Never take shit personally. How people act, okay, guys? How people act, what they say and they do, is a reflection of them. Never you. It's who they are. Okay, so never take shit personally. I'm building into this equation here. Never take shit personally. How people act, what they say and do, is a reflection of them. Never you. Never you. It's who they are. And who are they? They are what they say and think that they are. Okay? So let's go through this, guys. I wrote this down in my notes here. Never take shit personally. How people act, what they say and they do, is a reflection of them, not you. It's who they are. And who are they? They are what they say and think that they are. They have programmed themselves this way. They have pre-programmed themselves to respond and react in this way. They have programmed themselves to behave this way. Let me tell you about why I'm talking about it today, and I'm energized to do so. The reason is because as I was going to this store, I was driving my Mini Cooper, the Mini Cooper right behind me, guys. This Mini Cooper, okay? I was driving my Mini Cooper. And you know what? I did not want to go over a speed bump, okay? All right, I admit it, I didn't want to go over a speed bump, guys, okay? So I roll around this speed bump, not at a fast pace. Brother ain't going that fast, and there's no oncoming cars here. Guys, I'm a responsible driver, okay? We just idling through this thing. I just wanted just a quick turn, just go around it real quick, And this guy coming out of PetSmart, okay, with his kitty litter in his right hand and his keys in his left hand, jaw drops. I could see it, and I knew exactly what was coming, guys. It's one of those moments where you see the future. You're like, I've seen this before. I know exactly what comes next in this episode. I know exactly what's going to happen next. Okay? So I'm here. Picture me, guys, driving through the parking lot, no oncoming cars, me idling around a little speed bump here. Okay? Man is walking towards the curb. He's probably about 2 or maybe 3 feet from the curb. Okay? Just got there. Sees me. Kitty litter in the right hand, keys in the left, jaw drops. He's offended, guys. He is enraged. He is angry, guys. He has been provoked. And I knew exactly what was coming up next. I knew it. I just rolled right by him. I picked out a parking spot, and I knew I was going to get the wrath of this dude somehow, some way. So he jumps in his car, and I back into this spot here, and I'm coming out, walking out of my spot, and he rolls around. Guys, he rolls around. I know this is going to sound like I'm being like demeaning of this individual, but it just adds to I'm just going to say it, guys. He was rolling in a Saturn, okay? I don't even know the make and the model, guys. I mean, I just don't know Saturns, but I know that they don't make them no more, okay? And so he rolls up, and it's just like this teal green, and his window's already down. I know I'm going to get a chewing out, guys. I know I'm going to get a chewing out, and, he just leans into me. He goes, you think that since you drive a nice car. It's a Mini Cooper, dude. Yeah, it's a rare one. It's like an anniversary one. They only made like one of 500 of them in North America. Yeah, it's still just a Mini Cooper, bro. He's just like, you just think since you drive a nice car, you can do these types of things and be unsafe on the road, and I'm just like, bro, like literally guys, I'm all about the good juju, okay? So I literally looked at him. My glasses, I probably should have taken my glasses off so you could see my eyes, because the eyes tell more. I had these glasses on like this, right, like this, guys. So you can't see when I'm, the eyes tell, right? And so I sit there and I stare at him and I go, bro, I'm not about the bad energy. I'm not about the bad juju. My bad. Apologize. I know I went around it. Man. And like something like that. Pretty much like that, guys. Okay? Pretty much like that. Glasses off. You know what he ends up saying to me? He goes, well, fuck you. Fuck you. Just like, bro, man, I apologized. What do you want me to do? And so I did not want him to let me, to ruin my juju, to ruin this moment of life. You see, this man, guys, he has programmed himself, or he has allowed himself to be programmed in a way in which this type of thing triggered him to the point of action in which it was essential for him to let me know how angry he was with my behavior and the expectations of that were placed on me, unbeknownst to me, by him, on how an individual should act and drive. And even ensured that I felt bad, or tried to make me feel bad by saying, fuck you. Guys, this is not anything to do with me. Yes, okay. I added to the beginning of the equation. I idled through a speed bump. Mea culpa, mea maxima culpa, guys. I fucked up, okay? I fucked up. I drove through it, okay? But man, I'm telling you, I don't take that shit seriously. I'm talking about it now because this brother, I'm telling you, man, if you're listening out there, and I know you're not, but if you're out there and you're listening to this message, man, I love you, dude. I love you, bro. Come back to the world. The world does not need enough of that. The world already has enough of that negative energy, bro. You see, they have programmed themselves this way. They have allowed themselves to be programmed this way. Everyone has internal narratives, guys. Things they tell themselves about themselves. things that they tell themselves about the world and the people around them. They have these internal narratives, and unfortunately, those narratives are really limited and really narrow-minded if their narratives are mostly coming from the mainstream mockingbird media, right? Okay, so that we can go on and talk about that for a long time, but here's the point, guys. Learn not to care about what people say or think about you. We've already talked about this before. Why not giving a fuck about what people think or say about you is one of the best ways to live. Just, guys, learn. Learn in every instance, in every circumstance of life. I just had one. I had a guy accost me in his teal green Saturn, guys. Okay? He told me to fuck you because I was driving around the speed bump, guys. Look, learn not to care. Learn in every experience. Learn not to care, especially if they're just going on that negative juju, on that negative energy, guys. You don't need any of that. Go away. Run away from that shit. Learn not to care about what people say or think about you, because not that they really know anything about you anyway. They don't know who you is. That man today certainly did not know who I am. Not that I'm somebody, but he doesn't know who I am. He doesn't know where I'm from. He doesn't know where my logic comes from, my thinking, my worldview, how I was raised, my spiritual life, my faith life, my aesthetic life, my married life, my kids' life, my husband's life, my father. He knows nothing about me. He knows nothing about me, and so nothing that comes out of his mouth. Nothing that comes out of a critic's mouth, especially if you guys got anybody in your lives that want to spread that bad juju. No, they don't know nothing about you. They know nothing about you, really. And so don't worry about them. Everyone battles themselves and their own bad behavior. Everyone has a racket, as one of my colleagues used to say. Mike Costigan, he used to say this. He used to say, everyone has a racket. And that and this racket goes into autopilot from time to time. It's the racket. It's the internal narrative that they tell themselves when they know that they need to be patient, but instead they pop off, right? When they know they should forgive, and instead they just dig a little bit deeper in the spleen. When you know that you should engage and be assertive, but instead you slink away. When you should be honest, and instead the internal racket tells you, yeah, it's all right. I don't need to say. I can say the half-truth here, some shit like that. You see, these conflicting behaviors in all people are constantly in action. And often, people feel self-defeated because they once again caved to their carnal behaviors and not the better side of themselves. You see, these internal narratives are what people program into themselves, and they repeat it over and over and over and over again. It becomes who they are, right? But don't get caught up in that game, and simply recognize that whoever they are, especially if they're spreading that bad juju, guys. Whoever they are just as fucked up as you are in the inside. And frankly, you don't know jack shit about that person, and they don't know jack shit about you. Stop trying to have everyone try to understand you. Your job isn't to convince people of anything. Your job isn't to convince them. You simply can't, frankly. You can't. You need to leave that up to the Lord, guys. Right? I could not convince this guy. Trust me, I could not convince this man that I had, in my position, that I felt like I was in no harming it, nothing, and I was just doing a little diddly around people. Like, it's not my job to convince him. It's not my job to try to have him understand my position. Like, that's one thing that kills me when I've seen it, and when I see people, like, especially at car shows, and this is just because I used to go, and I still go to a lot of car shows, and I've been around the crowds, and I've been around the insecurity sometimes that happens with this much money in one place. I've seen it, okay? And let me be 100% honest. Like, I used to have those feelings of insecurity when I used to not have what I have now, right? I understand it. I get it. It's part of humanity, right? But when people spend too much time sometimes in conversations and these types of shows trying to convince people that to help them understand you and who it's just too much, guys. Your job isn't to convince people that you're X or Y or Z. They don't know jack shit about you anyway. You can't convince them. They've already made a preconceived notion of who you is once they met you, right? And you can't certainly change their mind in the moment. I certainly couldn't change this guy in the green Saturn, guys. I couldn't change his mind. In many cases, you're just getting sucked into his or her vortex of unhappiness. And that's not a place that you ever want to be. I did not want to get sucked into this man's vortex of unhappiness. You know, when you step outside the precious protection of your home, guys, you're entering the world of rackets. You're entering the world of rackets, a world of hurt. You guys have heard me talk about this multiple times, that most people, they're doing this, they're just talking through their troubles. They're talking through their trials. They're talking through the pain, right? They're communicating through their suffering. And you say, well, what does that mean? What it means is that people have been hurt. People have been burnt. People have been sometimes burnt to a crisp. They have been slayed. Their soul is weak. Their soul is hurting. Most people are just communicating through that pain. You just don't know it. Everyone's fucking suffering, guys. Right? Like this guy today, with his cat litter in his right hand, walking out of PetSmart, keys to his green beat up Saturn. Guys, this man, and okay, it might sound like I'm being judgmental here, but guys, I will tell you, he looked in just a moment, and we all probably look like this in a moment of time, but he looked in that moment like a man defeated. He looked like a man defeated, and he's just communicating through that pain. He's picking up the fucking cat litter, guys. Know that you can be the salve that soothes their pain by either just ignoring them, as I did with this guy, or maybe lending a kind word if appropriate. But if people aren't willing to lend a kind word in their moments of pain, talking through or arguing or yelling at me through his pain, I just ignored him. You could be the salve that soothes it, but you know what? Most of the time, it's better just to ignore it. Never take shit personally, guys. That's today's message. And this is something that frankly, is somewhat anti-school. This is certainly something that you don't learn in school. Because in school, in middle school, high school, it's all about validation. It's all about being part of the clique, being part of the group. It's all about knowing people, ensuring that people know that you exist and that you have some sort of value. Frankly, it's still that way after high school. It's all the way to the day you die. We are all looking for validation and some semblance of value in our lives, that we are valuable to somebody, something, right? Isn't that what kind of the innermost desire is of the heart? But at the end of the day, guys, never take shit personally from anyone else. It's never you. You want to know why? You want to know why you should never take shit personally? Because it's never your problem. You want to know why? Because you're just not that special. Thanks for joining me. I enjoyed talking about this, guys. It's something you certainly don't learn in school, and it's certainly something that is important, especially if you want to stay positive all the way through life. Guys, love doing it. Smash the like button. Share this if you want. I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.